All right. Well, everyone here is probably familiar with Epic Games, creators of what? Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, and probably some other PC properties that I just have never played. Well, last night, on a whim, I downloaded the Bulletstorm demo, and it's freaking awesome. Like, really, really good. Now, you're only able to try the single player, basically their points challenge mode. They have one level available for free download on live, and I think on PSN and maybe PC as well. But it was the live version I was on, and for what I look for in a game, it rewarded me on so many levels. One of my favorite aspects about Call of Duty has always been that in multiplayer, you get that instant gratification when you get a kill. You know, you get points that pop up on screen. Well, do me one better. Give me, words for what I'm doing, like Unreal Tournament did. Monster kill.
Ultra kill,
Ultra kill. Well, this
Kilimanjaro.
is Kilimanjaro. It's all those things that have been, spooling out in Halo's various point modes, in Call of Duty, but here it is, the single player, the multiplayer game we've been promised, these challenge modes, everything revolves around doing things stylishly and racking up points in amazing ways.
Now, for those unacquainted, what kind of a shooter is Bulletstorm?
Bulletstorm is a first-person shooter, which is nice to see. I mean, Gears of War is fun, but, it's a third-person shooter, so if that's not your thing, it's not your thing. I'd say in feel, the feel of the game is somewhere between Call of Duty and Gears of War. They did a really good job of mapping a control scheme that I think is more similar to Call of Duty onto a play style that feels very much like Gears of War. You've got that speed, you've got the use of cover, and you just have these over-the-top gory kills that, if you realize it's tongue-in-cheek, it's just spectacular. And, like I said, everything about this game is ridiculously over the top. I mean, this is not classy at all. There's nothing classy about it. I mean, this is a Michael Bay film in video game form. Ridiculous dialogue that's almost nonsensical. The invention of new curse words every single second. Wow, I wish I could share some now, but we'd quickly lose our PG rating.
Seizure-inducing visceral thrills. Well, I have to say, there really is something gratifying about that kind of textural feedback. I would say, let's say in Modern Warfare 2, I will admit, there is a kind of satisfaction that I get when I get a headshot with a sniper. There's kind of a ping as it presumably goes right through the helmet and through someone's virtual brain pan. There's something fun about that. The noises mean something to us. Hearing a crowd or a commentator, a color man, that means something to people. We respond to it.
Right, and this is that exact sensation at a Laser Floyd show.
Dear.
That's what's going on throughout this entire game, and it never stops. You might think it would get old after a while, but other games that kind of did the same thing, The Club, which is a personal favorite of mine, very similar game, and I would almost say that Bulletstorm is The Club on steroids. Yes, The Club was third person, this is first person, but otherwise, the premise is the same. You're trying to rack up points for style, and it's great. I commend Epic for it.
You could probably compare it to something like bowling. It's a convention. People plan social engagements around it. It's timeless. It's easy. It's digestible. It's relaxing at the same time. It invigorates people. I mean, that's why.
If there was a cheap bar behind me when I was playing Bulletstorm, it would be the perfect experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think why we still play Modern Warfare 2. It's easily soluble as a pastime. You just sit down, you play, you get your kicks, you're done.
I know. For me, a lot of the over-the-top games, I tend to become irritated when some of them go with the presentation of female characters, so that's one thing that I tend to find off-putting.
Let me just say one thing to perhaps pique your interest, though, Heather. The female character we saw in the demo had some of the smallest, most realistic breasts I've seen in a video game.
The slut level was way down.
It was. She was tastefully slutty. So,
couldn't that sidle into sultry or
There's a bit too much dirt on her face to be sultry.
Gotcha.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was like playing WoW the other day, and my comment in vent was, "Man, these characters' breasts make my back hurt. It's just ridiculous."
No, and I'll agree with you 100% there, Heather. I think that the vast majority of video game developers, and by no means am I trying to step on a soapbox here, why can't they just present real women? Because honestly, I find real women a heck of a lot more attractive than, you're right, these physically impossible chesty buffoons. You know, I really appreciate real female characters, and to me, I think it's better. It's more appealing, but you know.
Yeah, apparently Portal didn't do well enough for more people to want to do realistic female characters.
Chell, when you could see her.
Yeah, Portal, Mirror's Edge. That's another one.
Mirror's Edge did a great job, but you're right. I think that game has been grossly undervalued. Speaking of which, there are actually a handful of things from Mirror's Edge that I think make their way into Bulletstorm.
Really?
That's cool.
It all boils down to feedback again, and the way in which your character is presented on screen. You're given a sense of them having limbs, of jostling about, of fire actually having an impact on their existence in the world in a way that a more traditional first-person shooter might not. So yeah, that was something else that was interesting. But yeah.
Are you talking about the effective incoming bullets, the psychological reactions?
Just psychological reactions, camera shake, just all that stuff. I mean, yeah, on so many levels, this game works in terms of feedback.
And that demo is available where?
On Xbox Live, and like I said, I believe on PSN and PC.
Wow.
I'll have to look for it.
Definitely.
Yeah. One thought for you guys. Where does this leave the Duke Nukem series? Because this kind of seems like, what the Duke Nukem Forever should be. Self-aware, completely over the top. People are just have said, yeah, what's Duke Nukem got now? Especially consider it's kind of been brought back from the dead by Gearbox developers.
Well, shall we have a poll? Of the four of us, who has any intention of buying Duke Nukem Forever?
Never. I would prefer it never come out so I can continue to laugh at it.
Yeah.
I think
No
that's
interest. No interest.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever could. I think someone might be able to buy, say, the rights to the franchise, create a game, say like Bulletstorm, and then rebrand it as Duke Nukem. But I think the only value that Duke Nukem has, I would say at this point, is cultural and comedic, and perhaps a mixture of the two. Duke Nukem, just generally, based on the last few games that we played, 10, now 15 years ago, I think does have a certain influence. It carries a certain character to it, and people think back, and I'm sure that inspires developers. And the comedic value, of course, is that here's a legacy of what would have been multiple mediocre released titles, and yet it continually emerged after it disappeared. And like you say, James, it seems to have been resurrected, but I don't know. I guess I would prefer it be just this wild goose chase, and people just refer to it as they do Chief Falling Rock, who's the fellow who's referred to whenever you see those signs on the road.
Yeah, it just seems like Bulletstorm's completely a more relevant version of what Duke Nukem kind of wishes it could be at this point.
Is it then?
The franchise just seems, in all aspects, to me at least.
Do we need Duke Nukem?
Yeah, I agree with you. We could use him to continue laughing at this game that's been in development forever. But yeah, Bulletstorm for me is definitely on my to-watch list. And Duke Nukem, as someone who was a fan of Duke Nukem 3D when I was a kid. I mean, that was how long ago that game came out. Ostensibly the predecessor to Duke Nukem Forever. I'm still kind of looking at Duke Nukem just in case it's somehow good when it finally comes out. But yeah, judging from the trailer I've seen, yeah, it just looks dated, and Bulletstorm just looks like the new hotness, really.
Duke Nukem by any other
awesome.
name.
There's not much more that I can say except download it because it's awesome.